In banking, post-dated cheque is a cheque written by the drawer for a date in the future. Whether a post-dated cheque may be cashed or deposited before the date written on it depends on the country. A Canadian bank, for example, is not supposed to process a post-dated cheque, and if it does so by mistake, the cheque writer may ask his or her bank to correct the error. In the United States, however, cheque writers should not expect the post-dating of a cheque to be honored. In the United States, post-dated items are described in Article 3, Section 113 of the Uniform Commercial Code. Post-dated checks are often used in conjunction with payday loans. Practices in various countries. In Brazil, the drawer may seek damages in just as if their check is cashed in before its due date, according to the jurisprudential orientation of the Superior Court of Justice, as per Summary No. 370 of such court. Canada, under the clearing rules of the Canadian Payments Association, a post-dated check cannot be cashed prior to the date written on it. If a Canadian financial institution inadvertently accepts and processes a check before the due date, the check writer may ask his or her financial institution to return the amount until the day before the check should have been cashed. India, post-dated checks are illegal in India under Section 68 of the Indian Stamp Act. UK, in the UK the legislation is clear. A cheque is a bill of exchange drawn on a banker payable on demand. Under the Bills of Exchange and Banking Act 1882, Part 10, bills of exchange are payable on demand, and in Part 13, a bill is not invalid by reason only that it is antedated or post-dated. In the United Kingdom, post-dating a cheque carries no legal weight, and so such a cheque can be cashed before the due date. However, a bank may refuse to honor a cheque if the post-date is noticed. Otherwise, the payer has no right to take any form of legal action against the bank for letting the cheque be processed. It is common for the terms and conditions of checking accounts to state that post-dated checks should not be written and will be dishonored if detected. In some instances, a post-dated check may be retained by the bank and paid on the due date if that date is only a few days away. Some UK organisations do not accept post-dated checks, as well as some government departments, while paying income tax or voluntary national insurance may only be done with post-dated checks with permission from Revenue and Customs Department. United States. In the United States, national banks are permitted to pay checks even though payment occurs prior to the date of the check. According to the Comptroller of the Currency, a check is a negotiable instrument. The payee, the person to whom the check is written, may negotiate it through the banking system at any time, and check writers seeking redress must restrict themselves to pursuing the payee. Nonetheless, if the customer has given notice to the bank of the post-dating describing the check with reasonable certainty, the Uniform Commercial Code requires that the notice to be honored. In practice, whether the check writer has any redress against the financial institution where the payee deposited the check may depend on whether it can be shown that the check was accepted over the counter without examination. See also, antedated check, stale-dated check, references, Banking in Canada and the US. RBC Bank Advice Center, 3 UCC 113 Cornell Law Center's online version of the Uniform Commercial Code, http www.stj.gov. Public Account Engine WSP. TMP area equals 398 and TMP texto equals 90,959. Post-dated checks. Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, http www.legislation.gov. UK Vict 61-3, http www.legislation.gov. UK Vict 61, http www.chequeandcredit.co. Can I post-date a check / http news.bbc.co. Moneybox /3,537,727 STM, http payandtime.co. Checks and the Check Clearing System, http news.bbc.co. Moneybox /3,537,727 STM, http www.debtscotland.com bowensedchecks.cfm, https engineers.galsaferegister.co. UK Renewal FAQ ASPX http www.nidirect.gov.uk/ the cost-of-a-license, https www.gov.uk self-assessment tax bill, https www.gov.uk voluntary class 3 national insurance, answers about cashing checks. Comptroller of the Currency, Administrator of National Banks. Retrieved November 25, 2008. http www.lawcornell.edu 4/4-401 html, practical application of the UCC Bankers Online.com.